Hey y'all, I know I'm so late with the review. I always be late, okay? But I'm here. You know, life happens. I was going to review Reunion Part 2, but I think I'm going to hold off to review Part 2 of the Reunion with Part 3 of the Reunion, and I just want to focus on the colorism issue of this Part 2 of the Reunion. I'm trying not to raise my voice, because in my last video I was like, "Ooh, girl, like calm down, it's okay, it's just a show," to myself. But when you see the mistreatment of people, you know, it's kind of hard to kind of like keep your composure, especially when other people want to act like they don't see it. So yeah, so Candace starts out with the definition of colorism and how it affects people of a darker skin tone. And actually, it's not just in the Black community. It happens in all other, other communities as well. I feel like that was a disservice to her and Wendy. Candace having to explain what it is, which is fine, but the not having a moderator there. They seemed like they wanted Candace and Wendy to kind of like talk about it and moderate it, but they're the ones that are being affected by it. So if they're being affected by it and the other people do not see the issue with it, they're not going to get anywhere with the issue. So I was just kind of upset. I feel like, I don't know if the HR department at Bravo is on leave or extended leave or what, but, I didn't think that was fair for them not to have at least a moderator for an issue that one side doesn't see what it is. Giselle says, what does your emotions have to do with your skin tone? So obviously she doesn't understand what's going on. I feel like Bravo should have brought somebody in to be the moderator. Yeah, so that's that. Candace says that she doesn't actually, there's no one in particular that's colorist on the show. And even if she feels there's a particular person, in her defense, I don't know if this to be true, but I feel like she doesn't want to say it in fear of being retaliated against, and then in fear of being blackballed. So I do understand it. It's like, when you bring issues at some places of employment, not all, an issue, and if let's say you are not a problematic employee, but people don't like you, okay? And maybe people complain about you, but not about anything that's like serious, oh, this person, I just don't like this person because it's personality or, whatever. And they bring it to HR's attention. HR may have a bias about this person because of other things that have went on. Like this person has a smart mouth. Something that has nothing to do with the actual job, okay? So I see how Candace can be in fear that even if she brings it up to HR, she doesn't feel like, and this is me speaking, I don't know if this to be true for her, she doesn't feel like the issue will be resolved. Ashley acknowledges that, yeah, I do acknowledge my privilege. And yes, we, as being a lighter skinned woman, we do have a privilege. And then Candace thanks her for saying that. Candace, no, she did not need a thank you, because Ashley was saying that for Ashley. It had nothing to do with you. Here's why. Because if that was the case, Ashley, this colorism topic did not just come up. when people started talking about it, that would have been a good issue for you to bring up and say, hey, I want to speak to Candace, to the producers. Hey, I want to speak to Candace about this issue of colorism, and I want to, maybe me and her go to lunch and we talk about this topic between me and her. And so that I can acknowledge her feelings and everything. I don't know if you did that, but they didn't play it on the show. So for Candace to thank her, don't thank her, Candace. She's not doing you a favor. She's doing herself a favor. She's trying to associate herself with it. Because she has played a part in using words for Wendy, who's a darker skin tone than Robin. And the word does not fit the actions of the darker skinned person, which is Wendy. Calling Wendy aggressive, calling Wendy ferocious. She has never said that about Robin. And Robin almost took her head off at her restaurant, in her face, literally in her face. Wendy was not even close to Ashley. Oh, Wendy, you're being so aggressive and ferocious. Ashley knew exactly what words she was using. Nobody's gonna tell me no different. So don't even. I know that not that many people follow me now, but if this video goes viral 5 years from now, don't get in my comments telling me this. No, y'all not gonna tell me no. Wendy was all the way at the other end of the table, and she's been aggressive and ferocious. And Robin is dead in your face, and she's not. What was that? What was that? She's not being aggressive and ferocious. If that's not an example of colorism, I don't know what it is. And it may be subconscious, as Carlos King has pointed out in his video. Some of the issues may be subconscious, but some of it is conscious as well. Giselle has called Monique aggressive in season 2 in her house. Giselle was in Monique's house talking about Monique, saying that here's comes the talker, this, and this. And Monique confronts her about it in her house, in her kitchen. Giselle, you're being a little aggressive. How is she being a little aggressive in her house? You're in her house. She's not being a little aggressive. You're not going to talk about her in her house. She used the word aggressive. She could have used the word, you're being a little confrontational, not the word aggressive. You going to tell me that people don't know what words they're using? They know exactly what words they're using. She could have been like, you're being a little, a little sensitive. Another word, but she chose to use the word aggressive because Monique confronted her in her house about talking about her. And y'all gonna tell me I don't see what I see on this screen? Mia, Giselle, and Robin accuses you of not having cancer. Cancer, this is what no cancer looks like. You don't throw a drink on Giselle. Wendy goes to Bar One in Baltimore, and she doesn't text Peter that she's coming to his restaurant in Baltimore. You throw a drink on her. I didn't understand what the issue was with that. How are you gonna throw a drink on Wendy for not texting Pete? What did that have to do with you, Mia? And then you want to say, oh, she was talking about your husband. No, that was after you threw the drink on her. And y'all not going to tell me that's not an issue with that? You throw a drink on Wendy that has nothing to do with nothing, but Giselle confronts you to your face. You didn't throw a drink on her. You were right at the bar. Literally standing next to you. You could have asked for a cup of water and threw a drink on Giselle if you wanted to throw a drink on somebody. You assaulted Wendy. Wendy gets assaulted. However, Candace and Karen has to go around asking you, can she come to the events? That's not an example. That has nothing to do with her personality. She was assaulted. And you want to ask, can she come to the events? When you assaulted Wendy, Giselle and Robin came to your defense. Robin says Wendy was being antagonistic when she was assaulted. But y'all don't see that. Her skin complexion doesn't have a factor in that. It absolutely does. Now, whether it's conscious or subconscious, that's for y'all. Y'all know if it's conscious or subconscious, but the issue is there. You all can see how when on Beverly Hills, Erica said something to Garcelle's son, and then Dorit and what's her name, Kyle, they all talked about it and laughed about it. You can see the parallel between those two. But then when Wendy was assaulted and Gizelle sitting at the table laughing, y'all can't see the parallel between that? I'm gonna talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Karen did step up and say, you're not acknowledging people's feelings. And see, that's the difference between Karen and Gizelle. See, Karen is more mature, and she did speak up about it, and people can have their feelings about Karen. Okay, she's a colorist and all of that. Okay, but Karen has enough sense to say something. And Gizelle says, I'm very smart. Are you? See, you think this Potomac show is just about having fun and, which it is, but you think this show is going to last forever? It's not. And Wendy was recently invited to the vice president's home for an event. Now, you're going to tell me the vice president of the United States of America, people did not verify who Wendy was and her background? You don't think the government does that? So if they felt that Wendy was aggressive and ferocious, she would have not been invited to the vice president's home. Actually, that was a read, in my opinion, to the other people who were not invited. This person is not aggressive. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to show you how aggressive she and what happened to her was not her fault by inviting her to the house. That's how you read. Not read, as Wendy says, read, okay? That's a read, and that's a flex. Shout out to Dr. Wendy Osefa. Shout out to her. That's right. Did somebody else get invited, or was it just Wendy? But she's so aggressive. But she goes to the vice president's house. Okay. Yeah. Her soror. Okay. Isn't that Gizelle soror too? Oh, okay. Okay. Another example, and people might say I'm reaching with this. Gizelle, I think it was Rob and Gizelle, and I can't remember the other person, says that they played a joke on Wendy by putting a snake under her pillow. Now that may be subconscious. Have y'all noticed they have never played a joke on anybody else on the show but Wendy? And people may say, oh, it has nothing to do with her skin tone. Maybe that's subconscious, that you're making her the butt of the joke. Out of 7 seasons, I've never seen them play a joke on anybody. Y'all in her room, in her space, getting her key. Why are y'all in her room? It wasn't funny to me. And maybe people didn't look at it that way. They were just joking. And no, it's not just a joke. It's some unconscious things about it that y'all not recognizing. She's the only one that I've seen. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. I've never seen them play a joke on anybody else. And y'all gonna tell me that that's not a colorist issue? That one may not be conscious, but that's an unconscious. Make her the butt of the joke. Let Wendy try to get a key to Gizelle's room. Y'all think that would have happened? Y'all not going to tell me I'm not seeing what I'm seeing. And the fact, this is how I know Gizelle is not that girl, the Gizelle Kobe Bryant, as Carlos King likes to call her. And Carlos, how you doing? I like you, Carlos. And if you want to call her that, that's your prerogative. I don't see it. I don't see it. Call her Kobe Bryant is an insult. I'm sorry. Compare her to Kobe Bryant, Giselle Bryant? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Not Kobe Bryant. When you try to relate it to basketball, sorry, no. The fact that they can't even acknowledge Wendy saying it, Candace is saying, you know, we feel that we're being mistreated because of this. Even if you feel that you're not doing it, you can acknowledge and say, hey, I did not know that you felt this way. I was not aware of my actions. I apologize, and moving forward, I will change my behavior. It is nothing wrong with saying that. But you want Chris to acknowledge that he made you feel uncomfortable. But they're telling you the same thing, but you can't see it. That's an immaturity of Giselle Bryant. I'm sorry. Robin Dixon. You're immature. Even Ashley, even if it was selfishness, she said it. See, Ashley she is smart in that way, and so is Karen. Giselle and Robin. Who asked Evelyn Lozada, shout out to Evelyn, when that whole issue with her and OG, and she said she lost business deals. Giselle, you think Potomac going to run forever? Let me tell you something. People are not going to work with you because you're a liability, in my opinion. You are a liability. You will do whatever you have to do. You lie on Chris, allegedly. You could change the whole trajectory of this man's life, saying that he made you feel uncomfortable. You talked about Eddie bringing up a rumor that you knew. You admittedly said you knew it wasn't true, but you brought it up. You could cause somebody to have a huge lawsuit, a business to have a lawsuit against you. A huge lawsuit. You're a liability. Nobody's going to want to work with you. That's probably why you didn't get invited to the vice president's house. No offense. I don't know that to be true, but that's just me looking on the outside, looking in. I'm very smart. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. You're a liability. And if it wasn't for Potomac, probably nobody would really even know you. I'm sorry. Candace, and I'm going to get on you. Because when you had your event at that house, you let Giselle and Robin stay at the house. And Mia, because you said she was the new girl. And then you said that that's why you chose her. You should have chose Wendy. Not because of Wendy's skin complexion, but because you knew Wendy longer than Mia. She's a new girl. Okay, new girl, you won't have to rough it in the other house. It's no shade. I knew her longer. This is my homegirl. She coming in the house with me. Robin would have never done that to Giselle or vice versa. So I didn't understand that part. I didn't. And then turn around, look how Mia treated you. Look how Mia treated you. Ashley was extended the opportunity, the olive branch, to bring her baby to the trip that Monique had. Wendy wasn't given the same opportunity. Robin, yeah, but you're not a new mom. Yes, she is. I don't care if she had 1,000 kids. She just had a new baby. If Ashley was given the choice to bring her a baby, Wendy should have been given that choice as well. And y'all don't see it? Y'all don't see it? Y'all don't see that? Mia throwing in a trip in Miami, having a whole house. Sharice is not even a part of the show. She gets her own room. Candace and Wendy would have had everything on differently, would have had to stay in the same room, in the same bed. She gave Gizelle and Robin 2 separate beds and gave Candace and Wendy the same bed. Y'all don't see that? That has nothing to do with the color of their skin. Gizelle and Robin are homegirls. Why couldn't they be in the same room, in the same bed? Because they wouldn't have gone for it. And Gizelle was saying, oh, what Monique did to Candace is not the same as what Mia did to Wendy. The drink? To who? Let Wendy have thrown a drink on you. Let's see if it's the same thing. You think because of it's all because Wendy had restraint. I know I said that in another video. I'm not going to go back over that. Wendy had restraint. And that's why she got invited to the vice president's house. And I'm glad she kept her composure. But I am upset that there was no consequences, no repercussions for Mia and her behavior. She got to stay on the trip and then dictated if Wendy could come to the other events. They did not want to film with Wendy as if she did something to them. Gizelle pointing at Wendy in her face, I don't like her. Y'all don't see that? Robin not inviting Wendy and her children to the family fun day event because she doesn't like her. But you don't like Karen either. And Karen don't even have any kids that young. She was invited. She was invited. Gizelle saying, oh, they can't use my bathroom. They can't use my Wendy and Karen. And y'all not going to tell me, and y'all not going to convince me or change my mind that I feel like Gizelle lumps Karen into stuff with Wendy to kind of don't make it seem overt that she's directing it towards Wendy. Don't even comment. That's my belief. She tried to throw Karen. Yeah, Karen can't use the bathroom or Wendy. When really it's just Wendy. It's really just Wendy. But you want to throw Karen because you and Karen is friends. You and Karen, admittedly, y'all go back and forth. Y'all friends. You said you don't like Wendy. That's the difference. So by you saying Karen can't use your bathroom, that's just a joke. That you're serious about Wendy because you don't like her. And you said you don't like her. And you said you're smart. I see it. Let me work in HR department at Bravo. I will get the party started. I see right through it. Right through it. Telling Ashley to come back in Candace's house. Disregarding Candace's feelings. And what she said, don't come in my house. And Gizelle, girl, and that has nothing to do with her skin tone. Gizelle don't even, let me tell y'all something. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. I've never seen Gizelle have them film inside Gizelle's house with all of the cast at an event. Every time Gizelle films, it's outside of her house. They don't even go inside her house to film a cast scene. I don't even think they filmed anything with Robin at Robin's house with the entire cast. And she can't say, oh, my house is too small. No, because Ashley did the same thing in that condo when the baby was born. They all were over there, so no. That time, Wendy had an event, the GVO event. I can never remember. And she did not, Robin and Gizelle saying, yeah, I'm not going because they don't like Wendy. And it's my belief, I don't know this to be true, that Bravo told them that they had to go to her event. They wouldn't have shown up. They were very dismissive, not wanting to film with her. But I believe Bravo may have told them that they have to show up. That's the only reason why they went to her event. Y'all need to take a page out of the Real Housewives of Atlanta book. They don't disinvite people, at least to my knowledge, that I can remember. Besides that Sheree, not letting Nene name be on that list. Security need to pull me to the side. That's the old Nene. Shout out to Nene. Lanithia Leaks. Security need to pull me to the side. Anyway. But I don't see people not being invited to the events because the Real Housewives of Atlanta understands business. They understand TV. They understand the show. You have to invite people, whether you like them or not. This is a show. This is not your, yes, it's your person. The show is showing a reflection of your personal life, but this is still, you get paid to do this. You cannot just disinvite people because you don't want them to come. When they're filming, it's a show. Y'all want to ice Wendy out. Y'all want to say, and this is to the viewing audience and to people on the show, Candace has this vile mouth. She said that Gizelle's uterus was dwindling. I wouldn't have said anything like that, but I'm not going to knock her for saying that to the person who could change the trajectory of her husband's life, his income, because she accused him of making her feel uncomfortable. I don't care what she says out of her mouth. Y'all want to come after her for some words when Gizelle is saying things that is a lie on people, touching Ashley's friend butt, and y'all want to point the finger at Candace for calling her uterus dwindling? Y'all don't, which one is worse? Which one is worse? Are you serious? And y'all want to say there's no colorism on this show. Stevie Wonder can see his colorism on this show. I wish Bravo would have given a little more time to the situation. But I also want people to acknowledge that, you know, you could be mature. And just because Gizelle and Robin, they're women of a particular age, doesn't mean that they're mature in certain things, clearly. Because just because you don't feel you've done something to them as far as being colorist, you still can acknowledge your feelings and say, hey, I don't recognize that. And now that you bring it to my attention, I will change my behavior. There's nothing wrong with saying that. But no, see, they don't want to say it because then they feel like that's admitting to the issue. Wendy and Candace, more so Wendy on the show and Candace from the viewing audience, from the fans and everything, have been criticized. Y'all vilified Wendy for changing the way that she dressed because of the fake Gizelle, the rumor. I said it wasn't true. Yeah, but you said that she changed the way that she dressed because of that rumor. Maybe Eddie is not cheating on, Eddie was cheating on her or something like that, and that's why she changed the way she looked. And she cleared you. Shout out to Brooke Ashley. She cleared you when she said at the reunion, you got a tummy tuck to keep your, and you didn't even keep your ex-husband. Gizelle and Robin's gonna mess around and make them recast this whole show. Y'all see what happened to Basketball Wives. The viewing audience is not playing that. It's one thing to not recognize that you're doing something. It's another thing that somebody brings it to your attention and you can't even acknowledge it. You can't say anything about it. The fact that if Gizelle points at Wendy like that, well, I don't like her. I wanted Wendy to bite her finger off. That in itself, you never did that to Karen. I've never seen you point your finger like that at Karen. Or Ashley, or Mia. She's done it to Candace when she was trying to explain to Ashley, you know how it used to be? Just like this. She did it to Candace. I'm telling y'all. It's obvious to me. It's very obvious to me. And I don't see how people can see it when it comes to racism. And they can't see it when it comes to this issue. And then Gizelle, when Wendy called Mia dumb, she wanted to keep mumbling. You want her to tame her words for somebody who assaulted her? That was the same thing Garcelle was saying on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills to Kyle. You want me to think about your feelings when I need to be thinking about my son and his feelings? That's the same thing to me. Y'all can see it there, but y'all can't see it with Wendy. And Gizelle, you want her to have some nice words for Mia? Who said that she was sleeping with Peter? And then retracted her statement. Who assaulted her and has no remorse for it. don't understand it. And maybe the show is, and I don't know this to be true, to where it is skewed towards you have to kind of befriend Giselle and get on her good side. But then I can't believe that, because when Kenya came onto the show, she was trying to be Nene's friend. Didn't work out. You think Kenya kept playing up to Nene? No, she did not. She made a way for herself, and she went toe to toe with Nene, and she did not back down. And Nene did not like that. I don't know why they won't do that to Giselle. I will go toe to toe with her. And if they put me off the show because of it, then oh well. But I'm not going to play up to her when I know the type of person that she is. That season when she was in the kitchen with Monique, and she was like, oh, Monique was like, well, where's Sharice? No, is Sharice coming? Giselle. Oh, I don't know. Monique was like, well, I'm going to give her a call. Well, no, call her Friday. What? No, I'm going to call her now. No, call her Friday. I couldn't be on the show with Giselle because we will always be at odds. When Giselle would have told me to call her Friday, I would have been like, I'm calling her now. And you gonna stop me? See, that, I don't know why I don't know where these people been raised, but Giselle will not do this, not to me. Let me stop putting myself in there. But, and then also for Giselle to say that that Wendy is jealous of Mia. The only thing I could think of is what you're talking about, her skin complexion. Everybody does not want to be light skinned. Wendy is from Nigeria. Okay? And like she said, a proud people. And a lot of African Americans could take a page out of Nigerians, Ghanaians. How you doing? How y'all doing? Black Star. Book and be proud of who you are and how you look. Beautiful people. A proud people. She don't care about Mia being light skinned. Oh, she want to be light. Why would she want to be light skinned? What part of Mia's life is Wendy jealous of? I don't even want to read. I don't even want to go there. But if you're talking about skin, everybody does not want to be light skinned, Giselle. And that's the mentality. Like, girl, where did you grow up? Where did you go to school? They did a disservice to you. Oh, you know she's jealous of what? And that's how Giselle thinks. Like she said, the married men be crossing the street for her. She think people want to be light-skinned like her. No, everybody does not want to be light-skinned. Sorry. I'm sorry. Sad to tell you, no, they don't. There is, in my opinion, I see examples of colorism on the show. I would want the people in the HR department at Bravo to come on back to work. They're probably on leave. I don't know why, but they need to come on back to work and get on their job, because this is getting out of hand. And Giselle thinks she's running something, and maybe they make her feel that way. But Giselle is not an example to me, and people like her, and that's their prerogative. But there's nothing about Giselle that makes me want to look up to her and follow her. Now, Dr. Wendy Osefo, 4 Degrees. I barely got the one. I barely made it through that one. 4 Degrees. And yes, Wendy kept saying the first, when the season she first came. Okay, cool. Okay, whatever. 4 Degrees. How quiet as this kept. I would say the same. I barely got through the first one. And I don't brag about it, but 4 Degrees, political commentator, married with a husband, a loving husband, 3 children. The ideal life. It's the ideal life. Isn't that what the American dream is about? And she's hating on Mia? Okay. Candace too. She said she was raised in a what was it? The golf community? Something like that. Privileged. Married to her husband. Has a house. That's something to look up to. Also, Giselle telling, what's her name? Monique, oh, you don't have a home? I have 4 homes. She cleared it when she said, I have 4 homes. And y'all can't tell me. And yes, I watched the video of Tammy Roman and Carlos King and how they said, you know, some scenes they'll probably be like, y'all need to beef up this scene, or y'all need to be a little dramatic, or be a little, you know, play up to the scene. But some of this stuff, that Giselle scene telling Candace that Chris made her feel uncomfortable 7 months after the issue happened, no, you couldn't pay me to do that. That's something that's evil. That's an evil person. Evil. Just for a check. I don't look up to Giselle Bryant. Not that not that I have to, not that she's supposed to be my role model, but I don't look up to her. What part of Giselle do I want? No offense, or Robin's. What? Especially Robin's. What? Giselle got on the show because of her ex-husband, the one who she said was a cheater, pumpkin eater. That's why you're on the show. And then you had the nerve to film with him after you said this. Nothing. I'm not even gonna go there, and y'all want me to look up to that. That ain't the type of. Ooh. All right, y'all. But yeah, that I noticed examples of colorism. I feel like there should be some type of disciplinary action towards Mia. Don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know if there's an EEO or anything like that. I don't know if Wendy want to go that far, but Giselle, it's just a drink. It's not. Then let somebody throw a drink on you and tell me if it's just a drink. You know, I just don't like it for Mia to still be sitting there. I don't care if Jacqueline comes back, her and Wendy, and then Jacqueline wants somebody to feel sorry for her. Girl, you was with it. You was with it. When Mia, you was playing right along, and then it didn't work in your favor. Now you want to cry. No. I feel sorry for Jacqueline. But moving forward, I just want Bravo to go back to the drawing board. And it's okay if Giselle and Robin is not on the show. The show won't end. We need some new blood, to be quite honest with you. We need some of the new girls. Like Giselle and Robin, no, they're done. They're done. It's nothing about Giselle's life that I want to see. And it's nothing about Robin's life that I want to see. Nothing. There's nothing. Nothing. I don't want to see anything about them. Giselle doesn't even want to share anything. And then Carlos was like, she wouldn't bring a man on here because, you know, how everybody dogged her out about okay, she doesn't need to be on this show. And quite honest with you, Giselle always gets what she asks for. The 3 Fs. That's all she said she wanted is the 3 Fs, which is funny, feed her, and the other F. And that's what she gets. That's why she ain't moving forward with nobody. But anyway, that's besides the point. That's my review on the colorism issue, and I see it. Okay. I hope that things will get better, and I hope that Candace specifically sees how Robin is not her true friend, and she should go back to see if Robin ever was her true friend. There was all fun and games when sorry Candace, but you admittedly said when there was a conversation about Monique's son not being her husband's, and you sat there and entertained the conversation. That's when you was all buddy with Giselle and Robin. And look at what Giselle, they probably had a meeting about your husband. Okay, we're going to make her the storyline. Why couldn't they do Juan when it was the real stuff happening? You see what I'm saying? And so just know that Giselle Robin is not your friend. Especially for Robin to put that on the table. She would have never done that to Giselle or vice versa. But she did that to you, and she said she's your friend. And then you said, well, why do I have to have a specific? You don't have to have a specific friend. But Robin is not your friend. Wendy was more of a friend to you than Robin was. Has Wendy ever done anything to you that has embarrassed you or anything like that? No, Robin and Giselle has. I'm just saying. I hope everything gets better. I see it. And yeah. That's just my take on the colorism issue. I hope everything gets better. And probably won't if Giselle and them are not off the show. But something needs to be done. Something needs to be done. Something. And that's my review, y'all. I gotta go. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.